Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. So today I'm here with another one of my mental health chats. I did have my mental health story posted before, and I also made some, I think, dealing with panic attack videos, so I will link those down below if you want to have a look in there. But today I'm talking, as you know from the title, about some tips and tricks on how to turn a day around when you wake up and you feel like this is just not a good day, you know? You feel like everyone is against you, but most importantly, you are against you. Your mental health is just so low that getting out of bed seems impossible. This is very different from a day where you're just sort of lazy and you're like, okay, you know what, I worked really hard and I deserve a day off. This is a very kind of different day. You go ahead and you deserve all of those days, definitely. But this is a day where it's more beneficial for yourself to try and counter the thoughts that you have. These are the days that every minute feels like an hour and it's just so hard. Obviously, mental health and coping mechanisms are very personal, so this is gonna be something that works for me, but I thought it was worth sharing because it might work for you, and I'll also ask you guys to put all of the tricks that you have down below so we can share. So obviously all of these things that I'm gonna mention are definitely just sort of like first aid, very short-term coping mechanisms and like tricks and tips. It's just for surviving that day because you know tomorrow is usually better. But I definitely don't suggest you rely on these alone. Definitely if you feel like you have these quite often, or if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or any other mental health issues, I strongly suggest you seek help in other means. So before I go ahead and talk through the 10 steps that I take on a bad mental health day, I wanted to very quickly talk to you about a brand that I have partnered with. I am so happy to bring your attention to this because I truly believe in what they're doing. You guys know I would never partner or work or collab with a brand that I don't trust, but especially when it comes to this kind of subject, I just really believe in what they're doing. And what they are doing is they're offering online therapy, but there are quite a few things that set them apart from others in my opinion. So I'm talking about BetterHelp. What BetterHelp can offer to you is an online, discreet, and most importantly, affordable access to professional online therapy. BetterHelp makes sure that they're only employing licensed therapists who are certified by their state. Setting up is extremely easy. You fill in a very short questionnaire just to get enough information to match you with a counselor, and you actually do get matched up in 24 hours. You can choose to either message through your phone, through your computer, or have a live chat, phone calls, or Skype chats. The site not only offers the individual counseling, but there's also an option for couple counseling. You can cancel the subscription very easily at any time. I also want to know that it's extremely easy to swap therapists, which is another thing that people really struggle with traditional. That's actually a main reason people quit therapy, because they didn't really vibe with the therapist and they thought that therapy in general is not for them. And so obviously, because you don't actually have to leave your house or wherever you are, you don't have to sacrifice like 2-hour commute to the office because it is online, so it's time friendly, and even more so because this is unlimited. I sort of waited to point that out last because I personally think that this is absolutely amazing and it makes all of the difference. So whenever you feel down or whenever you feel like you really need a chat, you can hop on your phone or your computer and you can access the help that you need. So pricing for BetterHelp is actually fluid. You can try the services for as low as $35 per week. That is billed monthly. Bear in mind that this is unlimited counseling, which compares to $75 to $125 per single session for the traditional counseling. What is more, if money is an issue, you might actually be eligible for financial aid discount. If this sounds like it could be beneficial for you, the link is in the description down below. Feel free to just check it out and see if it works. We have this really odd concept in our society that we hold gym memberships even though we don't use them for a lot of the time. We go to do our hair, order healthy subscription boxes for the healthier food choices, and all of these things are just to look after physical health, which is absolutely brilliant. But when it comes to our mental health, we always think like, oh, but should I spend that? Should I invest that money? And it's just, isn't it weird? Because surely your mind is worth it. But anyway, so moving on to those steps. As I said, these are just something that works for me, and they're not even all the steps that I take, depends on the day-to-day thing, but those are just the ones that are consistent with making me feel at least a little bit better. So I have 2 points that are not actually on the scale. So point 0 is to tell someone. Always tell someone that you're not feeling great today, that you're struggling. You don't have to go into the length of why, you don't have to explain yourself. Simply contact the person, casually mention to them that you're not feeling 100% today. Point 0.5, ask yourself if there is a particular reason, because more often than not there isn't, at least for me. Sometimes you might find that there is a reason that you can actually address, and sometimes there's a reason that you really just can't do anything about. For example, if you are a female, you might be at the point of your cycle, you know that this is because of the hormones, and if you are prone to these days, then you know this might be the reason, and at least you know why you're feeling that way. If there's no reason, not to worry, we all just have those days sometimes. So step number 1, and this is actually a coping mechanism in CPT, schedule yourself a time further in the day to feel sad and be stressed to the fullest of the extent, but until that scheduled time, you are allowed to just live. So let's say you wake up at 7 a.m. and you feel absolutely beaten down, and you decide to schedule a time for embracing that feeling at 5 p.m. So now you know you have that scheduled, you have that coming, but there's no reason whatsoever for you to continue feeling that way if you know that you have that time at 5 p.m. I hope that makes sense, but it simply lets you sort of breathe out a little bit and be like, okay, I acknowledge that I feel that way, I know it sucks, but I have it scheduled so I can embrace it, and so there's no need for me to prolong that feeling. It requires some practice to learn how to do that, but trust me, if you learn how to do this with practice, it helps so much. It's my top 1 coping mechanism whenever it comes to stressors that don't actually have a specific reason. Number 2 is to make a decision to not make decisions. Days like that are not made for you to make important life decisions. Days like that are not even good for you to make small decisions. Do not make important life decisions. Do not make a decision to quit your job. Do not make a decision to separate from your partner, quit a project that you were working on. Nothing that would actually influence tomorrow. Just don't make it, and make a decision to not make any decisions. Just be like, okay, today is one of those days, that's fine. If you had planned to make important decisions, just be like, things happen, it's gonna be fine to make it tomorrow. And more often than not, you feel much lighter because you know that anything that you do today is not gonna influence tomorrow, you know, because you're gonna be careful of not making any decisions. It's gonna take a little bit of a pressure off that day. You're just living on that day. It's fine. Number 3 is actually something that is surprisingly very hard to do on those days, and I know I'm not the only one. Actually, showering is usually used as an example of what is so hard to do when you wake up and you actually feel extremely depressed or extremely anxious. Taking care of yourself is very hard, even though we all know that we will feel better afterwards. If you can, grab yourself a very quick shower. Maybe it doesn't include washing your hair, maybe it's just literally jump in, jump out, but if you can, do it. If you cannot, however, don't pressure yourself to do it, but there are shortcuts that you can trick your mind into, like, oh, okay, I actually did this to take care of myself. You can wash your hands even though you might not need to at that moment. Wash your face, brush your teeth, you know, but just acknowledge it, don't do it automatically. You take in the point that you're actually taking care of yourself, and you've done that to help yourself feel better. Not just because it's required to brush your teeth in the morning, but as a step towards feeling better. Similarly, I know some people stress clean, and I know some people find it very hard to clean when they're stressed. So for the people who do stress clean, try and contain it in one area. Do not sacrifice the whole day for cleaning, because then you're enforcing this, oh, if my flat is not clean, I cannot feel good behavior, which is damaging in itself and can lead to further problems. You should always try not to attach your well-being to a certain environmental factor. If it is hard for you to clean, again, there are little tricks to trick your mind as into that you still done it whilst not doing it very extensively, or, you know, doing like a full clean. It's a very simple step, but just decide where you're gonna spend the most time in the next hour or a couple of hours. If you're extremely low on energy, maybe choose a part of the house or a flat where it's actually already partially clean. There's always going to be things to do that to make it cleaner, but decide on a smaller space, you know, sort of baby step it, and clean the areas that look either the most messy or the easiest to clean. So most reward for less effort. I would also suggest only doing only cleaning the areas that are visible. So don't go into your like wardrobe and like reorganize it, unless obviously that's what you want to do, then do it. If it's in your bedroom, make your bed. Maybe dust the bookshelves very lightly without taking everything out. Maybe you have like 3 pieces of clothing on the floor, fold that in, put it away, it's already much cleaner. Just the most noticeable things, just clean them. Spend literally 5-10 minutes doing it and make your space cleaner, because we all know that cluttered surroundings clutter your mind, so just take a little bit of time to invest in the rest of your day. Number 5 is to appeal to your senses. Do some little something that by association makes you feel better. So maybe have hot chocolate that tastes and smells good and usually reminds you of comfortable happy times. For me, I actually have a specific body cream that whenever I put even a little bit on, because it's so strong, it makes me feel much better, just because it smells nice and it's always on your body, and it's like it just keeps giving, because it obviously lasts for a little while. That might even just be spraying your cologne or perfume on, because chances are you picked that scent yourself and you like that scent, so it's a positive thing and it's a thing that can keep giving. So little things like that, or if you have a snack that you really like, have it. Please your senses, because you already know that this thing makes dopamine in your system because you like it. Use it for your advantage. It's such a simple, tiny thing, but we are only able to do simple, tiny things on these days, so don't underestimate it. Number 6 is again a hard one, but it doesn't have to be. Take a short walk. Fresh air does so much to you, even if it is literally going downstairs, taking a lap around your house and going back in. Set your expectations super low. Maybe you have a corner shop like me. I have a corner shop like literally 3 steps away from me. Maybe I have to go and get something. Maybe I don't have to go, but like maybe I'll ask my partner if he needs something and then I have to go. And chances are you might actually extend the walk. Maybe you'll take another round around the house because it was nice. Because you can see that you can do it. If not, that's fine, head back up, but you're already done it. You got some fresh air, you got yourself moving, even if it's a tiny little bit, and well done. And it can really help way more than we realize. Number 7 is to trick your mind into being productive. So it might be completely different to you, but to me, one of my main stressors in life is not even being productive, but not being productive. When I feel like I'm wasting my time by not being productive, and that is why I still struggle with this. I'm not like an expert on this area like whatsoever. I still really struggle to relax. I find it very hard to actually calm down and like have a like me time, because I always feel like I should be doing this and this and this and that. Make a positive to-do list. By a positive to-do list, I mean literally break it down into the tiniest steps. Instead of including chores and things that you need to be done, write down, watch a YouTube video, eat that cookie that you really like, or put on cream that you like the scent of, like I said. Spend 5 minutes playing with your pet. Literally every single thing that you do that day, single thing, and after doing it, even if it took you literally 30 seconds, tick it. You see where I'm going, right? You have a list, you're fulfilling the list. Sometimes I even write the point down after I do it so I can tick it. And yes, that is cheating, but you know what? If it helps, it helps. If it helps you look at a page and be like, I've done things today. I've done something, I've been productive, even though normally maybe I wouldn't include these, but you justify including that because it's to take care of yourself. Like we know a chore in itself. Do not fool yourself that it isn't, because it's hard. And make sure to do things that usually bring you joy. I know a lot of those times during those days, nothing that usually brings us joy, because that's literally what depression is, but you can try it. Number 8 is difficult on a normal day for me, but again, it's to each its own. But I hate changing sheets, but I really suggest you put fresh sheets if you have any at hand. Not only will it give you something really nice to look forward to, because everyone knows how pleasant it is to go to bed in the fresh sheet. They usually still smell of, you know, fabric softener, and so really suggest you do that if you can. And if you do this earlier in the day, you know, you have something to really look forward to. But make the bed so you don't actually go back into it earlier than you should. For the making sure that you don't come back to bed, I understand that staying in your pajamas is very comfortable and it's very just like pleasant and cozy, but actually in these days it's sort of counterproductive because you want to normalize your experience. You want to, again, as I said, it's not the nice calm day, it's very stressful, hard, difficult day. So make sure not to self-sabotage by thinking you're doing a good thing by staying in your pajamas, and take this a little effort to change into, even if it's loungewear, whatever it is, just change out of anything that makes you want to, or makes it easier for you to crawl back into bed. Okay, number 9. At this point, so you might reach the 5 p.m. and you completely forgot that this is your time to stress, which is great. That's actually the point, that most of the time when you schedule that time to stress, the time comes and you just don't feel the need anymore. But if you do remember, if you do find that you had this build up, let it happen. If you want to be extremely sad or something, have yourself 10 minutes of that and just like let it all come. Have a good cry if you need to. Have a good rant. Open a Word document or take some paper and a pencil and write it all down. Write all of the thoughts that you want to filter out of your head. Just write it all down. You can bin it after if you want to, but just get it out of your mind. If it was still bothering you throughout the whole day, it means that it just needs to go, but it needs an outlet, so provide that outlet. Have 10 horrible minutes, but I swear it's gonna feel better afterwards. And you have made this promise to yourself of like, you know, I'm gonna calm down, but do this at the time that it comes, like dedicated stress, depression time, or whatever it might be for you. The next day that you're gonna do that, or the next day you're gonna try and do that, you know that, you know, I made that promise, I came on that promise by myself last time, and I know I'm gonna have that time. You know, it's just like enforcing behavior. And number 10 is very, very important. Like, take a little sheet and write down every single little thing or coping mechanism that helps you that day. You can do that the next day, of course. You don't have to like do that on the day that you're feeling really bad, but make sure to do that soon after you had that day and you tried things, because some things might be completely counterproductive for you. Some new things, like things that you discovered throughout the day that were unexpected, like doing the dishes that you usually hate, were actually really had a positive impact on you for the rest of the day. Write it down, so then the next time you have this kind of day, you have some list to come back to. You're basically prepared. This is what I call the bad day first aid kit. Like, you already made this effort and you can build up on that list and you can find ways to feel better. Even by itself, that list makes you feel better because you know you've done it, you know? It's your effort, it's your self-help thing. Whew, okay, anyway, I hope this made sense. I hope this was useful somewhat. I really want to ask you to comment down below if you know any of the steps that actually work for you that I haven't mentioned, because obviously there's gonna be loads of those. I really hope you guys share down below, and if you're someone who struggles with these days and if you are really out of ideas, have a peruse down in the comments, where I'm hoping there's going to be some more suggestions for you to try and see if something really resonates with you and you think that that might actually help. Make a list now, so the next time you have this day, you're gonna have some sort of plan already panned out for you, and you can hopefully make a better day out of it than it would originally be. I hope you found this helpful. I really hope that you don't have a lot of these days, but if you do, you know you're not alone. As I said, take care of your mental health just as you would of your physical health. If you think that online therapy is a really good way for you to try and improve your situation, the link is down below, as I said. Hope you guys have a wonderful day ahead of you. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye!